A client wants to become AI driven. Before recommending Kubernetes agents, vector databases, or a new cloud platform, how do we know what they need? ClearArch is an architecture decision intelligence platform for software as a service, consulting, and third party assessors. Imagine I am an architecture consultant walking in a client meeting. The client says, we want to modernize our architecture and become AI ready. That sounds straightforward, but before I recommend microservices, Kubernetes, an AI gateway, RAG, or an agent platform, I need to understand something much more fundamental. Is their existing architecture ready for it? A 50% software company and a 10,000-person enterprise should not get the same architecture recommendation. That's the problem I built ClearArch to address. ClearArch helps software as a service third party architects or consulting teams to assess the current environment, sanity check its architecture, and recommend a right size path toward AI and modernization. I start here on the assessment dashboard. I can see previous client assessments, their architecture fitness, and AI readiness results, reopen reports, resume an unfinished assessment, or select two assessments for comparison. This means ClearArch is not just generating a one time recommendation. Over time, it can show how an architecture is evolving. If I am in an initial discovery or pre-sales meeting, I probably don't have 40 minutes or complete architecture documentation. So, ClearArch provides a quick assessment. With roughly 10 inputs, organization skills, engineering capacity, business priority, cloud environment, data maturity, budget, timeline, Kubernetes usage, current AI adoption, and governance, I can get an initial architecture sanity check. This is not trying to design the entire enterprise from 10 questions. It is answering where should I investigate further and does the architecture appear directionally appropriate for this organization. When we move from discovery into an actual architecture engagement, I use the full assessment. Now, ClearArch goes deeper across 7 areas: organization, business goals, technology, maturity, AI landscape, constraints, and review. And context matters throughout the assessment. For example, if this is a smaller engineering organization with a modest budget, ClearArch should not automatically recommend sophisticated platform infrastructure simply because it is technically modern. It evaluates whether the architecture is under engineered, appropriately engineered, inconsistently engineered, or over engineered for the organization's actual needs. There is also another problem architects frequently encounter. The client already has architecture documentation. I don't want the assessor retyping information we already know. So with ADR refill, I can paste an existing architecture decision record. ClearArch extracts useful technology and AI signals and repopulates parts of the full assessment. It accelerates discovery. It doesn't replace the assessment. And this is where ClearArch becomes more than an assessment form. It turns those inputs into architecture intelligence. I get architecture fitness, maturity, AI readiness, and confidence. ClearArch identifies architecture risks and tells me why they were raised. So, an architect can trace a recommendation back to the evidence instead of accepting a black box AI answer. Instead of giving the client one supposedly perfect architecture, ClearArch generates three paths: conservative, balanced, and aggressive. So the conversation becomes how much transformation does this organization need and how much can it realistically absorb? Once we select the direction, he turns it into a phased roadmap. including dependencies and the critical path. And architecture decisions change when constraints change. So I can ask, what if the budget decreases? What if we have 18 months instead of 6? ClearArch recomputes the recommendation without changing the original assessment. The important part is that the architecture scores and recommendations are deterministic driven by rules and an architecture knowledge base. AI can polish the narrative. AI is not inventing the architecture score. So, here are terms intake into explainable architecture intelligence to right size target options to a transformation roadmap. You can defend in the room. And ultimately, it answers one question: is this enterprise ready for where the business wants to go next? Thank you.